Hey guys, what's happening? Speo here with the Voice of Reason, and before getting into the tutorial I want to thank Dorincourt for the support. He is truly awesome, and without him I wouldn't know half as much about Reason, and in fact I wouldn't even have started a tutorial channel. So big thanks to Dorincourt, and a big thanks to all the new subscribers too, of course. Today we will be looking at a heavy talking dubstep bass using frequency modulation and a vocoder, and I've made a little refill with 10 samples which you can download with the link in the description using this technique, with some really dirty bass sounds which you might want to use in your production or not. Anyway, what we want to create today should sound something like this. So very nice and gritty. So let's chuck in a Thor and do the basic steps. Just turn on the Portamento, set it to 20, set the Thor to mono, and pull up the sustain on the amp envelope all the way. For the first oscillator we want a sawtooth wave at octave 3. For the second, a pulse wave at octave 2 with full PW, so 64 PW, so it's a full square. And for the third, just a sine wave at octave 3 to make it a bit bigger. But pull that down on the mixer with about minus 6.4 dB. Okay, now to the frequency modulation. We want the second oscillator to modulate the first with an amount of about 19. But you can adjust these amounts to your liking. So it's really just preference. I like it at 19. And pull up the frequency on the filter all the way, and pull down the envelope amount and the velocity and the resonance to about 34. Now with this patch done, we can just record a little phrase into the sequencer. But before doing that, I'll hit Alt and click on the frequency and on the pitch bend to create the automation lines. Let me just delete those. So now we can just create record a little phrase. Quantize it quickly, and there you go. And now just record a filter automation in something along the lines of, well, something up like this. Just make a triangle kind of shape, and then you can just alt click on these arrows to time stretch this, and I'll just do something basic like this. Join those and just get these lower knobs up a bit so it isn't that, you know, the frequency doesn't close that much. Great. And you can also automate the pitch bend, which is always a good idea. So let's just chuck in a slope here. Okay, there you go. What we want to do now is we want to just run this into a vocoder and kind of mix it with the audio signal. So first let me create an audio track. There you go. And now you can basically record yourself talking randomly if you want a total mess, or just record your grandmother or something, or take a sample from the internet. But if you want some kind of system, you can just kind of emulate the filter frequency modulation which you've drawn in earlier. You'll see what I mean in a minute. Let me just quickly fix the settings so I can record something. Whatever. So now we got our audio track here. Wow, wow, yoy, yoy, wow. Just adjust it so it is clipping, and maybe hit normalize just to get it to wow, wow. There you go. Okay, now to the vocoding part. Hit right click on the Thor and create a vocoder. And it routes up automatically, so the Thor is the carrier, which is fine. Now we'll just take the direct out on the mixer channel of the audio track into the modulator on the vocoder. And what we have now sounds like this. Oh. Oops, forgot to turn off solo. Not too impressive, but we'll change that. First, just pull down the shift to about -30 or -32, so I sound a little manlier. And then pull up the high frequency emphasis quite a bit to about 108. So there you go. It still doesn't sound really harsh or anything, but we'll change that using a Scream 4 as usual. And as usual, set it to tape mode. That's just what I like. Pull up the speed all the way and set the compression at about 60. And just pull up the damage all the way. Or wait, maybe pull up, don't pull up the damage all the way, but put it to about 60. Which leaves us with a nice gritty kind of sound. We can activate the cut too and just boost some highs. Which is always a good idea. But we'll route it into an equalizer anyway. Just hit right click on the screen. And just select the first parameter at 400 Hertz. About 400 Hertz. And just dig a hole in there. So that just gets rid of some of the mud that's in the mids here. And again, we can boost some highs on here too. Yep. And maybe also activate low cut and get rid of some lows, because we'll add in a sub later anyway. Just pull down the frequency to about 50 and the gain all the way down. Sweet. Now just for widening it up a bit, just the unison always goes nice with these kind of basses. Pull the dry wet down to about 30 or 28. And there you have it. So much for the rack. In the mixer, just select the vocoder track and high pass it at about 100 Hertz or 89 or something. Because the lows on this kind of bass they can be quite muddy, so we'll just high pass it at a relatively high value. And again, now on the equalizer we can just add some more highs, but I think the highs are probably enough. But we could turn on the compressor though, and just turn on peak mode and set it to fast, so we really squash the signal. With a threshold with about -37 and a ratio with about 19 to 1. And adjust the gain. Adjust the threshold so we still get some signal. Sweet. Okay. And that's it basically for the patch. Now we can just layer it with a sub. Just copy over the notes, and instead of the filter frequency, modulate the master level on the sub. Just hit Alt, click on the master volume, and the automation line appears, and then just pull the frequency automation, which we've drawn on earlier, into that, and maybe pull down the knobs again a bit so we get more punch. And there you go. There we have our nice gritty kind of talking heavy bass patch. What we can do now is just go wild on some stuttering with the MIDI notes. That's always a good idea. Just draw in some notes and put them apart. There you go. And just add some pitch modulation, and there you go. Should be fine. Okay, as I said earlier, you can download a little refill with 10 samples I made using this technique in the description below. I hope this tutorial was useful. If it was, I would much appreciate a like. Again, a big thanks to all the subscribers and Dorincourt. And yeah, my name's been Speo, this was the Voice of Reason. Have a good one of whatever you're having.